Hello there and welcome to another episode of Stargazer Cafe. I'm the host, Marmar, and this is my co-host, Sparta. Say hello.
I got lemonade.
Nice. I love lemonade. Did you know that it's
Yeah, but
cold and it's
my
fresh?
opinion matters more.
Yes. Yes, I agree. Um, did you know lemonade goes really well with ice cream?
And did you know lemonade is made by lemons?
Yes. And lemons are bad guys, which there is a lot of in this series, isn't there?
No,
Well, yeah, there's not really that many bad guys in the series aside from the government.
not really. It portrays both sides not really wrong in their views.
No, I mean, well,
Look at it. Look at it this way.
we'll get to it
It, are,
in the episode.
no, but let me tell you. Are they wrong for wanting to protect what is being attacked from them, and are they wrong for pretty much going by what they believe and those who have right, who believe they need uh, help? Neither side is wrong in a sense. It's the way they portray their actions is what they should judge them on.
Yes. But let's start with the beginning. The warehouse fight. That was a pretty good action sequence, wasn't it?
It was. It
Uh,
just shows like the skill level that is basically above like those three of them. Honestly, like yeah, um, John's fighting style might be a bit more brutish and like head on. And he might be a super soldier, but he's still nothing against those two. Honestly,
yeah, and he tried to murder them several times during that fight with the
yeah.
shield. He's not the most stable person, isn't he?
Not really. And with the serum, it amplifies that aspect of his personality.
Yeah, and well, I was reading upon some of Young Walker's stories in between episodes since I was a bit sick. So he's a better person in the series than in the comics. Let's just say that.
Yeah, the guy had to do that since the entire show is written around him. But the main premise of it is like he's not the best superhero that when it comes to judgment and personality, since he has a tendency to go out and fight his own crewmates or potentially murder them.
Yeah. Well,
Like he has a strong sense of justice and what he believes is right, but his own like judgment and emotions will get the best of him.
he has a strong sense of justice and what he believes is right. But what he believes is right is not generally what is considered to be right by superhero standards.
Yeah, because like basically he's just like the more darker Captain America, who's not afraid to kill if necessary, no matter who it is.
Yeah. Well, Captain America only kills Nazis. So yeah.
Even then, the Captain America hardly kills anyone. Even if like the worst of the worst, he'll barely kill them.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, yeah, I don't see him killing someone like the Joker. Like he didn't even kill like Red Skull, hasn't he?
I mean, he wasn't able to, if I remember.
Yeah.
He teleported away before he could do anything about that.
No, I mean in the comics.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like the Red Skull, he was basically using them to further their own goals in a sense.
Yeah, also, there's a parallel between Young Walker and Captain America because, well, Captain America, Steve Rogers lost Bucky during World War II, and he didn't exactly kill the responsible guy, the main responsible guy in that situation, which was Arnim Sola. He instead captured him, which is pretty
Well,
interesting.
because the thing is though, he knows that what the actions he has on the mission will impact everyone severely afterwards. And he knew if he were to go against his emotions, kill him, he probably would have lost some valuable thing later on in time, which he
And
knew was the best thing.
I feel like at that point in time, I think Steve thought that Arnim Sola was held against his will, so he
Not
didn't.
really.
Yeah, I know, not really, but you know.
Honestly, I remember
Also,
like Thrawn, the Hydra is basically just using the Nazis just to further their own goals, just like Thrawn with the Empire. They don't
yeah.
really believe what they're doing, but it's like a necessary evil to further their own goals.
Also, well, that's in the movies. In the comics, they are actually Nazis.
Yeah, but by this point, they're basically like further away from that point by this point in the comics.
Yeah, I feel like they have toned down a lot of that stuff and
I guess
societary
it's
commentary.
progressionally evolution, like yeah, everyone has those traits, but eventually over time they just fade away. Like yeah, like how Hydra is no longer associated with the Nazis anymore
Well, in the movies at least.
in the movies, and they're hardly ever mentioned in comics.
Yeah, except
Even
when
then,
Magneto is
even
involved.
then, they hardly like mention them being like the Hitler level of a Nazi or anything like that. It's not good, but at least they're not saying like anything too bad about them.
Yeah, a lot of these characters are toned down for the movies and the series, and like I feel like that's losing a bit of the charm of Marvel in
Yeah, but I gotta
general.
remember the regulations and all that, and how people will react to like them showing this on screen.
Yeah, like you can't make Young Walker racist in the movies, even if he is in the comics.
So I don't think most people won't appreciate him hitting women show because he has done it a couple times out of rage with his teammates.
Well, I see a bit of parallels in the next episode with one of the comics in which Falcon is Captain America, or well, Sam Wilson, and
Yeah, it was like a big thing with the show. Like after the big fight, it was just like a big breathing period, trying to get their bearings on it and get further understanding of who they are and get all the storylines pretty much settled. Like
no,
Stan's storyline is basically like settled by this point.
what I want to say is that the next episode, well, let's get to the end at the end, right?
Yeah, because we need to talk about everything else. Like it might be short,
Yes.
but for like pace wise, it's pretty good because like the honestly they settled all everyone's storylines. Like Sam's storyline with the boat, they decided you're not gonna sell it and rather keep on the legacy of their family and have everyone in hand to help them out.
I really enjoyed that bit. I really like the boat. It's it's a plot line
And
I wish that they explored a bit more because I feel like it could have carried a bit more um, real world
ironically enough,
connotations.
and,
Yes?
and ironic enough, it just contrasts to Bucky's storyline with Cap Shield, helping move on the legacy to someone better,
Yeah.
which is not as kind of like both of their stories kind of have the same turning point of continuing the legacy of someone new in the past.
Yeah. I don't really think they are going to make Bucky Captain America, even if some people think he is going to be. I I I am starting to believe that there won't be a new Captain America
I mean,
as the episode progress.
with Voltaire's speech, isn't like that. I kind of doubt they're not gonna make it because like what all the training is doing in the speech that Bucky gave to Sam kind of just motivates like there might be that need for that one piece of goodness in the world, like Captain America, who's always represented that sort of thing.
Yeah, and well,
And they just can't leave his name tainted by John Walker.
yeah. Well, I feel like this the thing Bucky told him, and the thing Isaiah told him, which honestly,
Contrast a lot.
yeah, didn't really think they would go that hard with Isaiah's point because that's just tying a bit more real world politics into the series, which a lot of people don't enjoy. Uh,
Like Isaiah's point is like is someone broken down by the people who is meant to help out and gives them like the more narcissistic and pessimistic side of things, saying like they don't want you, don't matter what they say, you're not needed. While Buggy side is It's basically like saying he is needed and should go on. Think what he does is best. Basically, two sides of a different argument.
Yeah, and then it's the whole court scene with John Walker. That's
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to say. The government is the bad guy. Like he is right in that
Well, two
point.
things to remember. Remember, it's a show. You have to get the plot across to the point where like he's needed, so they can't just throw him in jail despite the plot. Because in real life
No,
scenario, if someone were to do that, yeah, they would go to jail. But it's the plot.
um,
And the thing is, John Walker has like is a great record. They'll go lenient on you with that sort of thing sometimes.
mm,
And like, gotta remember, in the heat of the moment, stuff does happen, and they're well aware he was under the influence of the serum, which
this
pretty much changes his mind a bit.
this is where I feel like the show strays away from real world politics.
Oh no!
I'm not
What
going
made
to.
what makes you assume they did?
I'm not going to say because I don't want to get as heated as the last time. Uh, but I feel like if it was real life and John Walker had done that thing, it would have gone differently than the show. Not really how you say of him going to jail, but
I
the
mean, not
complete opposite
necessarily.
way
Like
around.
that's kind of every situation depends on what happens. But there's a lot of factors that go in.
My opinion on
Like
this is that
say like a military man accidentally kills someone by accident in the field. Do you have to look through a bunch of factors to see if he was mentally sound then or not?
what I want to say is that I personally feel like they would have sugarcoated the fact that he killed a man. Like they would have said, "Oh, he killed a terrorist. It's nothing bad, really. He can go on and be Captain
No, they didn't.
America."
They knew that this was a bad idea. No matter who they were, you can't do stuff like that on foreign soil. That is bad for them and everyone, and especially who he represents. They're gonna take that seriously. Even if it's someone they consider a terrorist, they're not gonna allow it. There are rules. They don't like the fact that the Captain America, the guy who's supposed to represent them, goes around killing a guy in cold blood who wasn't even defending himself.
Uh, that's getting
Because
too much into real world politics.
not
Especially
necessarily, because
considering a lot of
it's necessarily not necessarily honestly.
considering a movement that went on last year. I feel like it's getting a bit into real world politics. You know, with the whole Black Lives Matter protest and George Floyd.
That's kind of the situation from this. I don't think she mentioned that stuff at the moment.
Yeah, I don't want to go over that stuff, but
So yeah, probably the best not to mention it at all.
yeah,
There it is.
well, I feel
The
like
show
it's
politics, the show politics are more black and white. You can obviously tell between like, the politics of the real world. I think we should move on from that right now.
I feel like the show politics are a bit more gray.
Not really. It's more black and white. It's very simplistic.
I don't really think it's simplistic.
It's very simplistic on how they portray it.
I don't know. I don't know about that. It feels like it's really gray. Like, I personally think that the villain here is more of John Walker and the government, rather than Carly and like Sam and
Gotta
Bucky.
remember, like no one here is really a bad guy per se. Like what has the government done that's portray them as a bad guy?
There's even gray in stuff like Ao, I think that's her name of one of the Dora Milaje, where she takes Bucky's arm away because well,
Yeah.
that goes into like what is part of Wakandan culture, because technically.
I think you're reading too much into that. I don't think that means nothing.
No, I have seen a few arguments, and I want to clear out
Yeah, but the thing is
a
though,
bit
those
of
are
that
people that kind of
bit.
look too much into a certain topic.
Yeah,
They try to make it more than it seems. I think that's just a scene song like there's more than Bucky's arm than there is than more than he knows, which leads to a joke. Instead of him saying he didn't know that I could do that.
I don't feel like it's a joke, but more of
It was a joke.
I feel like it's more of them showing him that they don't trust him, which is why he looked
No,
betrayed.
it literally is framed as a joke. His arm comes off, and Bucky's surprised that it can do that.
I didn't see it as
That's
a
lit-
joke.
that's literally the joke because he's like, oh, my arm comes off like this. I didn't know that. That's literally the joke. There ain't no like meaning behind that.
I didn't really see the
If they didn't,
joke.
if they didn't trust them, they wouldn't have given so much information, the help he needed in the show, as well. If they didn't trust them, they wouldn't have done that. They would, or if they didn't trust them, they wouldn't give that much time with Zemo. They would
Well,
have took him away straight away. If they didn't trust them.
well, if they did trust him, why would they put a safety mechanism to disarm him whenever it was needed?
They take it off easier. Say if it gets damaged, they take it off easier.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Imagine if it's broken, you just gotta dig out the arm just to take it out. No, it's magnetized, so you can easily take it out without having to dig out the arm like the old model.
True. Well,
So,
I just feel
literally,
like there's a lot of gray in the show.
yeah, there's some gray, but generally, like there's certain topic scenes that just don't really have that much meaning. Like I said, the arm thing, it's mainly framed as a joke.
Oh, by the way, the power
Yeah,
broker, we haven't seen him yet.
we're most likely gonna, because there's slight implications that John is gonna stab the power broker, which he did in the comics to get his powers.
Yeah, but well, he already has his powers.
Yeah, but he needs the support since like the government's no longer like giving him the funding or support anymore, since it's basically a dishonorable discharge.
Yeah.
So basically, to the government, he no longer is important to him, and they don't care what he doesn't care about him anymore. So he can basically just die in a hole for all they care about.
Oh, um, I know if you guys are watching this, you probably know that it has spoilers. Especially if you are this far down the episode, I should have mentioned a spoiler warning at the beginning, but I'm an idiot and I
To be
forgot.
fair, to be fair, most people if they could tell by like the length of the thing, they could probably tell it's a spoiler. If it was like a 10-minute thing, then yeah, maybe it probably won't be spoiled. But it's like almost an hour long.
Yes, but if you guys don't want a possible spoiler for episode 6, I would recommend skipping like 20 to 40 minutes, I meant seconds, because I'm going to talk about something about one of the released toys. So you know the Marvel Legends series, right?
Yeah.
They have released a few pictures about the figures for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and John Walker is he doesn't have the brand of Captain America on the box. He has the U.S. Agent brand.
Well, yeah, because the fish becomes a U.S. agent later on.
Yeah, but I thought.
I mean, that's kind of obvious for most people who's well of the characters become the U.S. agent.
Yeah, but I kind of thought that they were going to make him into Super Patriot, which was his first.
No, that wouldn't be fly.
Yeah, that wouldn't fly too well, but it was a possibility. But they also show that his suit that he was wearing in the previous episodes is going to get a color change. It's it's now the black from the comics.
Yeah, it's a black suit in the comics,
Which is kind of cool, and I'm really excited to see it in the next episode. You know, I feel like it's a nice contrast to the really bright colors of like Falcon suit, which is white and red, and like Bucky suit, which is blue. Also, I kind of like that they are going with the blue color scheme for Bucky, because that was his original color scheme in the comics. If you remember right?
Yep.
So there's a lot of attention to details in the show that I feel like a lot of people haven't mentioned really, because it's not as that big of a deal comparatively to like WandaVision, which honestly that was a master job at the ambientation of the 60s, the 50s, all those eras, and the filming techniques. Honestly, there's a lot of thought that goes into the shows, particularly in the color and the significance of the character costumes and what they say and their expressions. But since the actors seem to take their characters really seriously, which I think it's great. It's great that superhero films in this era are starting to get more traction and taken a bit more seriously by their actors. Don't you think the same?
I don't know. I honestly don't pay attention to details because honestly, I don't really care that much.
Well, well, I still
But
think
don't
it
expect
was.
me. WandaVision was not that good of a show at the ending, so I can care less about the show at the moment.
I think it was a great show.
It sucked. You know what I'm saying?
No,
It did. It sucked.
no, I really enjoyed it. But what was I saying again?
I
Uh,
don't know. You want to diatribe about small details that really don't matter.
I feel like they matter a bit because it's nice to compliment the team behind these shows, like the clothing department and the makeup department.
Probably we should move on before you start going on our rant about that.
Yes. So we are starting to get to the last part of the episode, right? Um.
I mean, last parts, last episode.
Yes. So at the end of the episode, we get the tease of the box that Bucky got Sam, which we don't know yet what it is.
It's most likely his new suit.
Yes,
Likely.
it's most likely his wings or a new suit or both.
It's probably like a vibranium infused suit similar to Black Panthers with like built-in wings, most likely.
I get a feeling that it might be the holographic wings he has sometimes, or a new red
Yeah, that's what
wing.
I'm implying. That's what I implied. Built-in wings.
Yes. I thought you meant metal wings, which is also something he gets in the
Well, they're
comics.
gonna be built in, so it could be either one.
Yes, I'm hoping more for the holographic ones than the metal ones because I really like that aesthetic more. Uh, but I'm personally hoping that they don't really go for the Wakandan purple or yellow that they sometimes go for and go more for a red and white approach.
I doubt they're gonna do that because remember, it was Bucky who was the one who requested them to build this thing.
Yes, but it was for his friend.
Yeah.
So, who knows? It would be a nice touch if to show the character progression of them becoming friends throughout the show. That Bucky got Falcon a suit that Falcon would actually like rather than one he would like, or he asks for it, you know. Oh, and the last part of the episode, which was the post-credit scene. Did you enjoy
You
that?
kind of explained it already, so
Yeah. Well, with Young Walker, we're getting
doesn't
going.
really make sense to like talk about it if you already explained it within the show, within the thing already.
Yeah, but it reminded me a bit of like the end of Endgame with the whole hammer smacking. That was my first thought actually, but I don't really
Well, the
think
hammer
it's tied
smack on a
together.
piece of metal, of course, would be the first thing.
Yes, but I don't think it's what they meant. What with the Endgame post credits sound effect.
Yeah, it's supposed to like
Iron Man.
remember like the beginning of the MCU, which was basically Iron Man making his first piece of armor with the same noise.
Yeah, but it's cool to see the parallels between the two. Also, what material do you think
There's
it's
like
going to be?
there's like a parallels besides the hammer smack, and that's it. It's like what most people use to make stuff out of metal.
True. But what do you think his new shield is going to be made out of?
Those just look like it's made out of standard metal, unless like the Power Broker managed to get their hands on a Vibranium of sorts.
Do you think that lady that talked to John Walker might be the power broker?
Who knows? They're very vague of who they are.
Yeah,
They kind of hinted that the Power Broker was like a single person rather than an entire entity,
I
and they kind of assumed like a Power Broker doesn't really leave their office or anything like that.
we don't know who the power broker is. Oh, also the Simo got sent to the raft.
Yep, which could lead into like the Masters of Evil because of all those villains in the raft.
Or the Thunderbolts.
Well, see the Thunderbolts.
I don't see these Simos naming a theme the Masters of Evil.
They can make that an Avengers movie, honestly.
They could make the Avengers versus the Masters of Evil, but do you think the Simo, who's very clearly against the wrong people getting superpowers and all that sort of stuff, saying like, "Oh, we are the Masters of Evil"?
He's willing to do whatever it takes to achieve his goals, even if it meant to team up with Bucky and Sam to take out the rest of the Soldier Serum.
True. But I find it hard to believe that he would name his team the Masters of Evil instead of the
Or though
Thunderbolts.
they're most likely gonna rename or something like that.
Probably. But it was a fun episode. It was a bit of a slow one. It was a bit of a deep one. It was fun overall. I
Yeah, it was
wasn't
like the calm before the storm before the finale.
yeah, I wasn't expecting to see the training montage. It was a fun training montage though. Do you think
It always is kind of why they're gonna make one.
yeah. Do you think we might get more Isaiah Bradley in the future?
I doubt it at this point. This character arc is basically done. He gives a piece of what he thinks about the government and the entire super soldier program in general.
Or
Use
at,
the contrasting parallels against it.
or at least do you think we are going to see more of his grandson because
I doubt it.
he's part of the Young Avengers and he gets
I
his
doubt it.
superpowers from he's sort of like a mini Captain America.
Yeah, but the thing is though, like, how many characters have they introduced to have little to no like meaning within the show?
Well, Isaiah and and his grandson, which I forget the
I
name
know, but
of.
they introduced characters within the show who play significant roles in the comics, but they pretty much don't have any sort of role in the show either way. Like Prowler, they introduced to his character in the MCU, and it seems like he's not gonna have much of a stancing role within the MCU at this moment.
Well, not yet. That could
Because at this moment, he just seems like a regular guy. That's all.
that could
And I kind of
change.
doubt they're gonna. And I kind of doubt they're gonna continue with his storyline since Spider-Man movies are pretty much on his last leg at this point.
I doubt that Marvel would really let such such a machine of money like Spider-Man go down from the MCU, especially considering the fact that well, how could you explain Spider-Man leaving the MCU?
Not for him to decide, honestly.
Yeah,
I
it
mean, supposedly the entire next movie is about the multiverse, so
yeah, but I find it really difficult to believe that Marvel wouldn't offer another deal to Fox. Well, I
I
mean
mean, hey,
Sony.
eh, it's if they're willing to pay that much, honestly. If Sony keeps upping the price for the use of rights, they probably might think it's not going to better idea to keep spending so much money on that.
Yeah, well,
I mean, hell, they had troubles last time when the rights was about to waiver again.
I personally feel like the whole thing with the rights is a bit dumb because, well, both Marvel and Sony are being a bit greedy. Like, Disney is being greedy because it should be their property because they bought Marvel. But
Yeah, the thing is that we gotta remember, Marvel was desperate for money, so they sold off as much of their movie properties as much as they can to make back money. And by that, Sony still has the intellectual rights to make Spider-Man movies because it's under their legal right to do so.
yeah, but you know how Disney is.
So yeah, if it was like Disney was running the show before that, then yeah, they have the full range of anything. But if they bought him out before then, oh well.
I don't know. I feel like Disney would just rather buy the rights to Spider-Man from Sony, or than let them keep making movies.
Well, Sony's well aware that how much Spider-Man does and all their characters do, and they're not gonna let go of one of their properties because they make a lot of money off the Spider-Man related characters. If these Spider-Man can make movies primarily based on Spider-Man,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna let them go because like Venom and Into the Spider-Verse made a lot of money.
Yeah, so it's the Spider-Man's fate in the MCU is kinda in the air right now.
Really, if Disney was desperate to buy, they'll just like increase the price to a amount to where like it would consider if it was worth it or not.
Yeah. Also, remember how you talked about the Snyder Cut the last time?
Yeah.
Well, I have seen a few things about the Snyder Cut. Particularly the $200 meal kit that they released for the movie. There were only 20 sold, and I saw the making of one, and it doesn't seem that good. The Snyder Cut meal, like the souffle wasn't really didn't look that great. I didn't
What do you
really see
expect?
the
It's a kit related to a movie that was released on a streaming service. What do you expect from quality?
well. I don't really get. Well, it cost $200. That's
Oh
a lot
well,
of money.
they people spend like more on that on like on a cheap plastic figure from a for a game pre-order.
Yeah, but like this,
People
they
people have
didn't even
paid
have
money
the
for crazier things.
they didn't even have the bugs like the burger bugs for the Big Belly Burger made properly, and like burger. I mean, Warner owns Six Flags, and like they sell those at Six Flags. How did they fuck that up?
Who
And
knows?
like I didn't really see the tagging for some of the food items. Like Aquaman's was just some fish, and Wonder Woman's was some square marshmallows. Like, why were they squares?
Who knows?
And the Superman souffle, they had
I don't know.
some.
Honestly, like don't even know about that because honestly, it seems pretty dumb to me. So I didn't really care about looking into it.
I personally care more about the food meal
I
kit
I don't
than the movie
honestly. I
itself.
know nothing about this. I literally just found out stuff today, and I don't really care.
Well, I feel like for $200, the Snyder Cut meal could have been better. Like,
I mean, to be fair, it does depend who makes it and all that. Like, if you're confident cooking, I think you can make it better than it seems.
I mean, it's less about the quality of the ingredients and more about like how well do they tie into the movie. Like, what does a souffle have to do with Superman?
Absolutely nothing. They just want to sell them to people who spilled $200 for basically just getting food.
Yes, like I get the Big Belly Burger and the other stuff in the meal kit, like, but like the souffle, you basically sprinkle it with with Packens ashes. Like when you make the souffle, you they give you a black powder and you are supposed to put it on top, and it looks like like Packens ashes, like after he went into the tornado in Superman. Like that's all that remains of him.
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't honestly care about this thing, and nor did it's not like as some meh. So honestly,
I
it's not really a big deal to me what they do.
I feel like it's interesting to think about. Like,
Well, I'm just glad that they're giving up more support for the Snyder Cut, seeing as how like more people want more movies from this universe rather than the current one.
um, I find it really interesting. Like, I personally haven't seen the Snyder Cut, and I have heard some people say it's good,
Yeah,
but
because the movie that came out in theaters was a mixture of tones because like Joss Whedon's version, he tried to make a more lighthearted movie based on what was already made, which didn't make it, which had a very inconsistent tone and mood of all the scenes. And some of the music just didn't flow well sometimes with what it was represented.
yes. But for me, considering that Zack Snyder is the same person that made like Man of Steel and the Batman vs Superman, I don't really see this movie being that good. Considering I didn't like either the other Wonder Woman movie he did.
It's a good movie. Don't worry about it.
I don't really know if I should watch Snyder Cut. So I
But it's
have
better than the Joss Whedon version.
I personally would have preferred they made the Joss Whedon version of Justice
God
League,
no.
like fully directed
God
by Joss
no.
Whedon.
No. No.
Mm, and I
That's
say
literally just an entire total shift of what it is because that just sounds like a bad idea.
yes, I think an entire tone shift would have been better. But then again,
Not really.
I don't really support them making a Whedon cut because of certain allegations against Whedon that recently came out. And I want to be on the
Oh
safe
well.
side.
Oh well. It's
Yeah,
not a wall moment. Seeing as how like a lot of the actors who were in the Swing Cut support the Snyder Cut because they believe that was a better version and all that.
then again, the
A lot of the actors support it and want more to go on because they generally did love making that movie.
then again, we live in a society, as Joker said, and I I have my own opinions about Zack Snyder and his subtleness about things. So I don't really want to say anything else about the Snyder Cut aside from the meal kit because I don't feel educated enough to really talk about it.
I
Especially
think it's like a damn good movie. One of the better DC ones.
especially considering it's not a movie made for me because of the tone. Wouldn't you agree with that, Sparta?
You're asking the wrong person.
What was that?
You're asking the wrong person about tone since I absolutely love the movie.
No, I'm asking you if you think it's a movie I would enjoy.
I don't know. You like a lot of weird things. It's hard to tell with you.
Yes, I'm a complicated person. So, what were your thoughts about the episode all around?
It was fine. It was good. It was a nice slow pace.
I think it was fine. I enjoyed it more than the other ones, mostly because of the pace and well, I personally like more slice of life stuff. Uh,
Certainly better than the last three episodes of WandaVision. That's for certain.
I disagree.
I heavily believe that the last three episodes of WandaVision sucked so bad.
I disagree. But well, it was mostly action this series, and most of WandaVision was just a slice of life sitcom, which might make me a bit biased towards WandaVision because I like that more over purely action. But
Yeah. Then the last three episodes they tried to turn it all around to make it as an action series, which didn't flow well. It had horrible choreography.
uh, it's complicated because it's difficult to make a fight scene in the air.
Not
Shown by
necessarily.
I feel like it is Like
Not really.
I
If you're confident that you can make a fight scene work anywhere,
I
it's
feel
just
like
they decide to go the lazy route of like blast, 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 blast. That's
only
basically
anime
it.
has made the fight scenes in the air work. That's my
So
opinion of
that kind of
it.
goes against your point then, saying it's impossible, but it's entirely is possible. Depends on the person who does it.
Well, it is impossible so far on the big screen, as shown
Not
by like
necessarily.
Shazam or other superhero movies with fight scenes in the air. Like maybe Iron Man has done it well, but it was more like Starfighter combat. So we'll see what the show does. But yeah, I have enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier so far. I think it's a good series, even if not one of the best. I really like.
That's literally the best.
I don't know. I like the political commentary that the series has done, even if it's a bit muted by, well, not going as hard as the comics would. So that's my final thoughts on the episode and the series overall so far. I could change my opinion by episode 6. What about you? What are your thoughts on the series
I
overall?
well, I already said my opinion multiple times in the conversation, so I kind of pointless to ask me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a bit slow. I forgot I asked you already, but I do remember what you said. Uh, so sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Anything you want to say before we end the episode?
Not really.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. This has been Marmor, and we'll see you guys next week, where we talk about the last episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And then it's going to be a week without Stargazer Cafe. And is there anything else after Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Loki, but it's not coming out for like another month.
What about Bad Batch?
Knowing you and your opinions on the entire thing like that, I don't know has to be the best idea because I know your opinions about that sort of thing.
I'm
So
still gonna
I
watch
don't think it
it.
would be the best discussion.
I'm still gonna watch it. I could change my
Yeah, but I
opinion.
already know like I already gonna know your opinion on it, so it's not gonna be like the most.
Well,
I don't think it's gonna be a discussion that people want to see,
we
honestly.
can discuss it, but if I consider it doesn't really flow well, I won't publish it. But we
Because
can
I already
talk
know your
about
opinion on
it.
the Clone Wars already, and I doubt the Bad Batch is gonna change your opinion on that.
I did semi enjoy season 7, but that was mostly Ahsoka's parts. So I don't know. I could change my opinion if they made the Bad Batch characters a bit less two dimensional. Because I tend to like non unique clones like Fordo and Rex, or like what's their name? The Scourge Delta 17? No. Yes, Delta 17 is the ARC trooper. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the episode. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for the support and the likes and the comments and all that good stuff. And I'm sorry for the delay on videos, but my throat hasn't been the best this week. Uh, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Do you want to say anything, Sparta?
Not really, honestly.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed the weekend.